What a frantic day and a half of Test cricket. It's been incredible to watch. I'm still trying to think about everything and trying to find words about for this match because it was quite intriguing the way these 2 days have went. I mean, both days poor batting, and I'm not going to blame it on anything. It's not the pitch. When I looked at the pitch this morning, on TV, of course, and with the pitch report, the wicket looked quite good. And the wicket looked quite decent. It didn't look like there was too many demons in the wicket. It didn't look like there was too many divots in the wicket. It looked quite good. It looked like there was going to be tennis ball bounce. But ultimately, it looked like a good batting wicket. And it seemed like Sri Lanka decided to bat first was the perfect decision from their part. But what happened in the end, from a South African perspective and from a Sri Lankan perspective, was quite remarkable. And I'm going to be talking about day one, well, day half, and day two on today's show. But before we get going, before we get started, there are a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, please subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell for all future videos, please. Very important that you guys do so, especially if you are new to the channel. Obviously, that's your number one task on the channel. Then I'd like you guys to please smash the like button and also share, but also don't forget to comment in the comment section after this video has ended. It really helps this channel out a lot if you do so. It helps the channel spread. It helps our videos go further, farther, and wider. And it will really help us reach a new South African cricket audience out there on the YouTube sphere. So please help us do that as well. And also subscribe to Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. The link is in the description, but it's also on the screen right now. So please go ahead and subscribe to our magazine, please. Anyway, without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine. This is your review show, your live cricket show. I'm your host, Khalid, and today we're going to be discussing the 1.5 days of Test cricket that we've seen thus far. I didn't have a show yesterday because it was only half a day of Test cricket, and it was obviously stopped by rain, and the end of the day came to a close because of rain. But there's a hell of a lot to talk about, so let's get straight into this and what took place from a South African standpoint, because this was quite remarkable, what we witnessed from a South African standpoint. And from a Sri Lankan standpoint, ultimately, from both sides, it was quite weird. It's quite a frantic game on our hands at the moment, and it's quite weird the way this game is unfolding, because I would have never expected this, particularly not because with Sri Lanka's record as well. But we'll get into Sri Lanka. Let's start off with South Africa. South Africa went into bat, and my word, what the hell happened? I was extremely irritated with the team and the way this batting lineup performed, and particularly knowing that all of the wickets, or majority of the wickets, were nicked off because of hard hands and playing at deliveries, and playing too aggressively at certain deliveries, and then nicking off, obviously, to the slips, etc. And that was the main problem from a South African standpoint. We couldn't handle the seamers from a Sri Lanka perspective. Ashita Fernando, Vishwa Fernando, Kumara, we couldn't handle them. We really, really struggled to face the seam attack of Sri Lanka, and that was the main problem from a South African standpoint. I felt that we couldn't read the overhead conditions, and if you heard Tristan Stubbs speak after the match, he said that he said the overhead conditions really played a part. It's not really the pitch. The pitch is actually quite good. So that obviously means that the wicket is good, then it must be the overhead conditions. And we know how we don't. And the ball wasn't necessarily, I would say for South Africa, it was moving off the seam, but for Sri Lanka, it was moving off. Um, for Sri Lanka, it was moving off when they faced, it was moving off the seam. But when we faced, it was moving in the air, but also off the seam as well. And that makes it very difficult. It is the angles that the Sri Lanka bowlers bowled consistently and really made it tough. But we could have fought a little bit harder and maybe stick around, but that didn't happen. And South Africa collapsed. We were five down, as you can see, for four down for 54 runs after 17.1 overs. And Tony, Tristan, Aiden, David, all of them losing their wickets cheaply. Okay, Aiden got bowled beautifully. It was a beautiful delivery, I must say, that Aiden got. But and David Bedingham got a a peach of a delivery as well. He generally does only lose his wicket when it's a very good ball. And that's what happened today. And then Calvarena fell. I mean, we made it till the end of the day's play, 4 wickets down. And we had 83 runs, I think it was, on the board. And it was looking good from a South African standpoint with Temba and Calvarena at the wicket. And what actually happened was that rain came halfway through the day and it put a stop to the play. So as you can see over here, the end of the day, we were 80 for 4 after 20.4 overs. So between that final wicket falling, the fourth wicket falling, which was in the 18th over, and the day's play, we only had another 3 overs. So the game was put to a stop, and it was kind of a very early end from a South African standpoint. But we picked up where we left off, ultimately. Calvarena lost his wicket very, very soon today, this morning. And we were 83 for 5. Then Vian Mulder retired out hurt first, 85 for 5 at that point. And then Marco Jansen really did try and stick around with Temba Bavuma, but then he also lost his wicket. And we were 117 for 7. And ultimately, it was just Temba running out of partners because Keshav Maharaj came out and he played attacking and he looked like he was really in the mood and that he could do the job for South Africa with Temba Bavuma. But then in the end, that's not what happened. And he scored 24 55. He got three fours and a 6. But then when Keshav lost his wicket, Temba tried to go. But I have to give congratulations to Temba Bavuma. Coming back after a long injury layoff, a lot of criticism, some people saying that he shouldn't be in the team, etc. He comes out and he scores a 70, a much needed 70. His knock now looks even more important given what transpired in this match. We made it to 191 and I was hoping for at least minimum 200 because that gives you something to bowl at. We got 191. And at that point, I was feeling a little bit underwhelmed and slightly pissed off with the performance. But then Sri Lanka came out to bat and everything went sour. Their lowest innings total in Test history. 42 all out. Marco Jansen 7 for 13. Phenomenal. He was absolutely superb. And even though he bowled quite a few no balls, etc., and extras, he would bowl a no ball and then take a wicket. He did it on 2 occasions. Even when he took the wicket, he would look over his shoulder to try and see, is it a no ball or not? What a performance from Marco Jansen. His best figures. Gerald Coetzee 2 for 18. He was good as well, but a little bit expensive. But he was still very good, took the 2 wickets. And Kagiso Rabada, brilliant again. 4 overs, he only bowled 1 for 10. And Sri Lanka were all out for 42. And South Africa had a lead of 149, so they didn't enforce the follow on and had to go back again. And Tony DeZorzi and Aiden Markram got off to a brilliant start. But then Tony DeZorzi threw his wicket away, going for a shot that wasn't needed. A slog sweep wasn't needed. Vian Mulder came out to bat, which was quite a weird one for me. But the only thing I can think of is that they know that he's probably going to have to miss the rest of the game, and he's going to have to go for scans or operation or whatever the case may be. And because of that, they probably wanted him to give his contribution as soon as possible so that he can go ahead and go to hospital as soon as possible. So probably that was the thinking behind Vian Mulder coming out. He contributed with 15 or 31 balls. But Aiden Markram looked brilliant today. And I really thought that this would be the one. This would be the innings that will turn his career around, because ultimately we needed a performance from him. We needed a score from him. We needed him to come to the party and try and turn things around from a cricket perspective, from a form perspective. And so unlucky once again. 47. He got bowled beautifully by Fernando. Fernando bowled him cleanly. You could perhaps afterwards on the replay, you saw a little black plastic bag that flew around a little bit. So that could also be a reason that things went a little bit sour for him. Maybe he saw the bag. I don't know. I don't want to make any excuses. Ultimately, he was bowled, clean bowled, and it was a beautiful delivery. And at that point, South Africa were 89 for 3. But Tristan Stubbs and again Temba Bavuma at the crease have batted very sensibly and very controlled. And the pair of them have been fantastic to take South Africa to 132 for 3 at the close of play. We lead by 281 runs. So a brilliant performance by both batters, and I'm hoping that both can go on to score big tomorrow and really put the game out of Sri Lanka's reach, because now the game is in our hands. I don't think we would have expected what happened from a Sri Lanka standpoint. For them to be bowled out for 42 was just shocking to me, especially with all the talented batters that they have in their side. Once again, it was this time the spinner that gave South Africa some trouble. Jai Sharia took 2 for 48. He's the second fastest to 100 wickets. Brilliant. Fastest Sri Lankan to 100 wickets as well. So brilliant from that standpoint. So South Africa are 132 for 3. And we're looking for an innings from our skipper. And we're going to look for an innings from Tristan Stubbs to try and take South Africa into the massive lead, to try and bat them out of the game. I think about 250 to 300 would be a great lead. And I think the game would then, from anywhere beyond that, I think that would be perfect from a South African standpoint. We should be able to handle that, but I don't want to take too many risks. So I'd rather even maybe go from 350, 300 to about 400, anywhere close to there. If we can get a lead of that, then we really can feel comfortable and say, okay, cool, we got this game in the bag. So let me get into the live chat and see what you guys have had to say. You guys have been talking here for quite some time now. So I won't be able to get to all of it because I have some things to do now after the show. But let me just have a look here. We'll start over here. Sabir says realistically 250 to 300 should be a good lead. Waka saying, hello Khalid, how's it Wakas? Welcome back, bro. Amit says, Marcos, no balls can prove to be dangerous someday. Yeah, he needs to sort that out. Dick says 400 will be a good target, but bat for 15 to 20 over, score 100 and 120. Yes, that would be brilliant. I'm hoping that both batters can really push on and score big tomorrow. Wakas, again, Temba and Marco saved us. We might get some rain maybe tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure, but it was on the cards. But it was a very nice day in Durban today it seemed like. Amit says if Mulder takes time to recover, can Berger replace him in the next game? Berger's injured, bro. Like out for the season. So you won't be able to come because he's not available. Temba picked up where he left off. Sabir says Mulder in at 3 makes no sense. I think it had to do with trying to let him bat and give his contribution so that he can go off to have surgery. I think that was the only reason why they did that. 19 wickets in a day. Wow, it was incredible. Riza says, I wonder what would have happened if we sent Sri Lanka into bat again, given the momentum of the bowlers. I don't think we could, isn't it? We needed to be 150 to enforce the follow on, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken. Um, hey Khalid, who do you think can replace Vian? I don't know. We probably will replace him with Sinara Mutasami. TB is or either him or Rickleton, but I probably think Mutasami for the extra seam option. Timber, to extra bowling option, sorry. Timber is on fire captain's innings. Rizas is the only reason I see for that not happening is the possibility of facing Prabhat Jaisaria on day 4-5. Markram to open in test, especially in overcast moving conditions, need to learn to leave more balls in the first innings, and also sometimes trying to just like move across the crease and try not to bat middle stump all the time. That also would work. 80 for 4. SA batters need to improve when the ball was moving like it did in the first innings, but what a comeback with the bowling performance. Looking forward to see Stubbs and Bavuma score big runs now, says Pratik. PBG3 says, great to see Timba got some runs in the format. I love to see him and it suits him well. This is the best format for him. I've always said that. Kelly says, Bayers with a fifer against the Lions just as we're an all-rounder short. Second test at his home ground too. That wouldn't be a bad choice, actually. I think the swing would be quite handy for South Africa. Perhaps maybe Coach Shukri has something up his sleeve for the second test. Sam says, to be honest, Markram played really well for 47. Feel for him. Yeah, I feel very sorry for him because he really batted well. Paul Terry says, follow on his 200 runs or more. Yeah, that's what I thought. You need to have 200 runs or 150, 200 runs or more, yeah. Kayo says, I've been noticing a lot of hatred from my fellow South African fans, not all. Some people seem to find joy in the misfortunes of either Markham or Bavuma. Why can't we support both? Exactly. Why can't we? I would like to. Sam says he would like to see Bayer Swanepoel come straight into the 11 for the second test at his own ground. Walker says it was plastic bag's fault. Plastic bag gate. Now it's time for Stubbs a bat to battle T, scoring more 200, 250, and let Sri Lanka play the last 40 minutes of the day tomorrow. Yeah, because the over conditions come back again in Durban, it gets gloomy, and then we can really get some swing bowling. Hope Mulder gets recovered before second test. He is important player of SA now. It's a fracture, bro. So I think he's going to have to be out for quite some time now. I don't even know if he's going to be ready for the SA20 in the first couple of games of the SA20. Marka Janssen breathing fire today. What a bowler. NYT Times Squared. NY Times Squared says, who was that number one fast 100 wickets with average of 10? Imagine bowler twice good as Boomerang. It's madness, madness, madness. Sam says those who are the only negative about Markram Bavuma, they are full of winning. That's more important, and they are doing it really well. I don't understand. In what time says Marka has evolved as a player since since his rest, 100%. But that's what I've always said. I always said that he needed a rest. Joseph Van Heerden says, Markram fanboys still believe that he's the best player in the team. It's not about being the best player in the team. I think that he has an amazing talent and an amazing ability and we can't deny that he's a good player. He just seems to be getting very unfortunate lately, throwing his wicket away or getting bowled or whatever the case may be, just can't get over that line, and that is something that's very, very unfortunate from his part. But if he doesn't perform and he doesn't put on the runs, then we have to treat him like we treat any other person that doesn't perform. I want to see equality when it comes to our judgment of players. Michael Joseph Markram looks classy, can't deny that, but more likely to get out early. It's crazy how many times he gets out when he's in great form. Follow on his 200, says Kelly. Yeah, I thought it was 150, but okay, 200. So yeah, that's why we didn't take the follow on. But I knew that we didn't take the follow on because we didn't make the thresholds for it. So that's the reason. We couldn't enforce the follow on because of that. I just saw schedule today and saw first T20 against Pakistan is very next day of the test match finish against what Sri Lanka will make this hectic schedule even though we will have different squad. That's madness. Michael Joseph says the harder the pitch is for the batting, we can expect Pavuma to show great fight and grit just like Alga used to. This is an opportunity for Rob to rest maybe Tristan Stubbs for that T20 series. There's no need to play Tristan and all the top test guys in that test series. I hope Coach Shukri asks Rob to tell them to rest the guys so that they can be ready for that test series because it's going to be so crucial for our season. We have a proper chance of making the test championship final. Let's not throw that away by not giving guys the proper rest that they require. McMillan says some people on Twitter were soiling their huggies about playing in Durbs. It's up to players to change the bad juju in Durban. Spot on. Marvel Skywalker, is our batting bad or our pitches? It wasn't our pitches today. The pitch was a really good pitch. It was shot selection today. It was. I felt like, for example, the New Zealand series, when we sent that second, third makeshift team to New Zealand, Kane Williamson showed South Africans how to bat on wickets that are seaming around. If you play with soft hands, you almost take the slips out of the equation because the ball will most likely almost always drop short from the slips or the keeper. Temba Bavuma did that today. He played with very soft hands today. He didn't play hard at the ball and try to force boundaries or try to force a shot. He played with soft hands so that the ball, if it does nick, it drops short. That's a safe way of playing shots without risking your wicket. So that's something that we need to learn. And I think that will come with experience. When these players will play more test matches, they play against more swing bowlers or they play with more quality bowlers, they'll learn. I think Aiden's habit of trying to be positive and keep the scoreboard ticking is becoming his downfall, says Tara. Maybe he has to play for himself a little bit for a while. I mean, when Jock Cullis was out of form, he used to play for himself. He used to bat himself into form. Even if he had to sit there with a 120 ball 30, he would sit out there in the middle and try and fight his way to 100. And maybe that's what Aiden needs to do. Michael Joseph says, Khalid, can Kyle improve his batting technique now? He looks like getting out every ball on seaming tracks. He barely moves his feet. I don't know what happens when he plays international cricket and why that happens. Because when he plays domestically, that doesn't happen. He moves his feet. So it's very crazy that this is still happening. And I'm hoping that he does fix it. Pratik says, any fast bowling all-rounder other than Mulder in the ranks as Mutasami would prove the spin option, and if Kabeja has a lively pitch, might not work. And he said nothing's wrong with his technique, by the way, when asked that. So, yeah, I guess that's something that he needs to sort out and he needs to fix. Amit says, have Bruno been dropped or that dismissal was not off no ball, then even Issa would have bowled out for under 100. But that's the luck of the draw. There's so many great hundreds that have been scored because someone got lucky or someone got dropped or something happened. Kelly says 150 is for 3-day follow-on. Remember, 3-day, 4-day follow-on. Okay, cool. Thanks for that info, Kelly. Sapu says Bavuma's knock is as good as 100. Joseph Van Heerden says Markram averages 30 in T2024 and 24 since 2021, but you're still talking about talent and he's 30. What does talent have to do with age? Mulder's injury is a real concern. With this kind of form, he could have made Champions Trophy. I hope Rob gets the right team selected, especially the ODIs, considering Champions Trophy around the corner. Kelly says nothing wrong with the pitch at all. Opposite, actually. Old Kings mean again just need to show better application. Guys must learn. Exactly my point. That's exactly my point. Sanjay says Markram was dropped on 36, could have easily cashed in and scored big, but threw his wicket away. Yeah, he was dismissed. It was a very good delivery. Um, Shikar says, I think people need to respect Pavuma a little more. I'm not saying in white ball, but in Test cricket, surely, yes. He needs to be respected generally. I think people over criticize him. They become vulgar towards him, and the treatment that Pavuma gets compared to other players is chalk and cheese, and it makes me sick actually. And I always fight on this channel and talk about it here. I try to protect him from that abuse because yes, criticize players, but don't abuse them. Like that's where the line is drawn. Like really. Sam says, yes, Khalid agreed Tristan should be arrested for T20 series. He has been playing regularly and needs to give chance to players like Brzezinski and Ryan to open Brevis, Ferreira, Mapaka, and Samalani. I'm not sure about Brevis at the moment, but definitely the others that you've mentioned. Rob spoke about guys playing too much cricket and how they had to balance guys' rest, etc. Just didn't seem to apply to Tristan. Hasn't stopped playing for about a year. He needs to rest now, especially for that Test series. We need him. He's so you can see how crucial he is to our batting lineup. Bosch should be also be in the mix for T20 series. He's done nothing domestically this season. Marvel Skywalker. I love this name, by the way. It's like my two favorite franchises. Skywalker. Is any chance of the cock returning for Cape Town? I have no clue where the cock is in the world. On the squad release for Pakistan, Khalid. Probably directly, I don't know actually, probably during the second test. Joseph and Harrison's people hate the truth. T20 average of 16 and test average of 30 this year. Bavuma was dropped. Wesley says tickets to enter was 20 Rand and it still wasn't full. Can CSA do better? Market it to schools at that price to fill it up. Yeah, exactly. The schools need to maybe just give the schools tickets, free tickets. I mean, if you're not selling it out anyway, it will just look good for the antics and good for the television, and everything to fill up the stadiums and have a vibe there. It's crazy. But also, this test match, for example, it's during the day. People work. It's in the week. And a test match falls between 10 o'clock and 6 o'clock, which is exactly slap bang in working hours. Whereas white ball cricket happens after hours. That's the problem currently with South African cricket, with the test cricket and when it falls. Because now, especially with a game like this, they're going to get day Friday. So probably people might be able to get off work early for the last session, maybe on Friday. But we might only get one day on the weekend where we're supposed to get Saturday and Sunday. So it's unfortunate about this cricket. Yeah. Anyway, let's hope that South Africa can put on a hell of a lot of runs tomorrow and try and get that lead to up to 300, 350, maybe even 400 if possible. Let's see how we do. Very good bowling performance. Can improve a hell of a lot in the batting performance. It's a pity that the guys that failed in the first innings didn't get to redeem themselves fully. It's up to Bavuma and Stubbs, and maybe hopefully Bedingham can do something, and Carl, that will give us a nice feeling going into the second test if those guys can also come to the party. Everyone, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments in the live chat. Please don't forget to comment in the comment section after this video has ended as well, please. It really helps, and it really helps the channel out a hell of a lot. So please do so for me. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again very soon with another live cricket show or review show. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Peace out, everyone. And Sam, I see you say, do you think Mulder will be recovered before Pakistan test? It depends. It depends how bad the fracture is. They're going for scans, and they're going to see how bad the fracture is and see if he's going to have to probably go for an operation. So we're going to have to wait and see. That's up to the doctor. Those things are not like set in stone. It's not like a hamstring or even hamstrings and stuff like that aren't. But like with regards to fractures and breaks, it depends how it grows back. But anyway, guys, peace out.